Hello classmates! Today I'll be walking you through a basic ERD for Best Buy. So when I looked on the website, the first thing I thought of that would definitely be in their database would be some tables about their products. So I went ahead and looked at one of their product pages to see some of the attributes that each product would have. So here's that page, and I'll go ahead and pull up my ERD. So for each product, I chose the product SKU as the primary key that should be unique for each product. Some other attributes were the model and the name and the description, which would all be varchar data types. The price should be kind of one thing for the product, which would be a decimal, and then like the URL for the product page, as well as like an image URL for the product image. For each product, after I kind of got some basic attributes for that, I also noticed on here that there is multiple reviews and questions for each product. So I chose the questions and the reviews as entities of their own. They would have some sort of surrogate key automated by the system. And then for the questions, you could have just like the question itself and then the question date. And then the answer, I gave it a little bit more characters as well as the answer date. And I left the answer and answer date that they could be null just because not all the questions are always answered on a website. And then it has a couple of foreign keys in here of the customer and the product because each question should be related to a product and a customer. And those relationships would be one-to-many and one-to-many. Each product could have many questions, each customer could have many questions, but each question should really be about one product and each question should really be from one customer. Similar for the reviews, it has some of those same attributes. It also has review stars, which would be an integer, and then same thing as the foreign key of a product, and it has a foreign key of the customer ID. Again, each product could have many reviews. Each review should be about one product. Each customer could give many reviews, but each review should only be from one customer. Moving on to the customer entity, that was another big thing. I figured Best Buy probably has some sort of database for their customers. I kept this pretty basic with an automated key, primary key of some sort, their first name and last name and email. Their password would probably be in here and all sorts of personal information, but this is the basics that I chose on there. This would all be varchar data types. And then the customers would have an address, and I decided to keep the address as a separate entity just because the attributes of an address might be repeated in a lot of different places. You know, multiple people could live on the same streets or cities or states. So the address ID, it would be some sort of unique ID, and then all the attributes would be the actual elements of the address. And I kept state as it could be null if they are anywhere international where there's not states. And I actually did a many-to-many relationship for customers and addresses because each customer could potentially ship things to many addresses. I know I've shipped stuff to different addresses before, and each address could have multiple customers at it. So depending on what it is, the customer might have a different address for different things. And then the last entity I looked at was the orders themselves. So there would be some sort of order ID that would be a surrogate key, again, system automated, order date, and then the foreign keys, it would definitely be linked to the customers and the addresses. And each customer could have many orders, but each order should really only have one customer. Each order could have many products, and each product could be in many orders. So that was another one that needed a linking table, and that was a great place to put the quantity of the products attribute. The last little relationship in here would definitely be the orders and addresses, and I put that each order really should only have one address, but I realize now that this should be one-to-many because an address could have many orders on it. So that was one thing that I saw that could be corrected.